Astro World, welcome back to another week of Hardwood and AstroTurf talk show, podcast, whatever you want to call it. Peoples, we are back in the building again to talk mainstream NBA and some other things that have been happening in the world of sports. People's rather disappointed, but I didn't really expect nothing less. Really, right, Rayvon? Like I didn't this fight, this hype that happened over the weekend between Mike Tyson and Jake Paul. Like I knew what it was going to be, but it
We
seems
all
like
did. Truthfully, deep down, I think we all knew what it was going to be. Truthfully.
it was it was atrocious in my opinion. Like, I I wouldn't pay a dime to go see that.
Has to
And
be hands down one of the worst fights we've probably ever seen in boxing history. And you wouldn't want to consider making that statement with Mike Tyson in the conversation, but
yeah,
context, that man is almost 60.
bro, like I don't even know how it got deemed a professional bout. It was just, but it's funny how much better the hype was with he working out and everything, the energy, the explosiveness that he displayed while he was working out and thing getting ready for
Yeah,
the fight,
you know.
just to come and tweak all night. Like I
But
was, I was
you
so
think
confused.
the thing about Mike Tyson is just exceptional boxer that he would always make that look good. Like
Yeah,
the optics beforehand, I think that's one of the things that he probably excelled at, especially early in his career, and even still now as we see it. He making it look like the man that taking the punches look like he gotta be waiting for his dear life in the warm-ups and the prep that they show you, but really and truly when he come out there, he already had that's just in a couple of seconds of burst that we will see him punching, maybe
correct.
20 seconds, 30 seconds, but for a whole fight, he ain't got it. From the time that match started, that man was I could see his back moving. He was breathing, he was breathing hard. He could have barely
Bro,
started
like
after that
oh,
first round.
yeah, like first minute of the first round, he had like this explosion that had the crowd for a moment,
But
and
yeah.
I was like, all right, let me see what Mike vote. When the bell ring, I was like, all right, yeah, that's it, man. There's the end of the fight. Like
Yeah,
this ain't happening because
yeah.
he
Immediately
couldn't.
after the first one.
He was biting on the glove. I hear the commentator say that this was, like a tick that he had in previous fights, but
Yeah, apparently.
I knew from since the Roy Jones fight that he wasn't going to be in shape. Like you got a guy 27 and he prime, and this older guy. I guess people wanted to relive that, that
That
I guess
greatness.
fantasy of
Hmm.
Mike Tyson coming back. But I if you understand your fight game, you know that it's not going to happen.
Correct.
Boxing is a sport that you got to be on your A game in order to perform at the highest. I mean, even like Saint Floyd sometimes at this point is like, yeah, this is not the same guy.
Hmm.
You know, men getting down in age, and as Swift reflexes in there, and might just took a bunch of like jabs and head taps. Like I don't even think Jake Paul really went to knock him out or anything. I feel like there was some agreement in the bar. Yeah, I can come, I can take
But
some hits.
but Hans, he said it himself after the game, after the match, was like essentially I realized that this man ain't really had it, so
Yeah,
I didn't want to go for a knockout punch or anything to make him look bad because he's a legend, yada yada yada.
yeah,
So
yeah,
he realized it. He realized it. So kudos to him for being a good sport in that regard to some degree. But it wasn't a
yeah,
good sport in the sense of it was a terrible match. It was a terrible boxing match to watch, really and truly. And
yep,
he was tremendously Mike Tyson was tremendously outclassed by Father Time. And
yeah.
Father Time has proven undefeated for through all of history. Through all of history, man. Come on. Come
It's
on, the only
true.
that may have a chance of defeating Father Time right now is LeBron.
I was about to say like he's only owners. I mean, Fernando Alonso too. If you want to talk
Well,
F1,
yes, yeah.
like
If you want to tell F1,
Lewis pushing boundaries as well. But
mm-hmm.
yeah, Father Time will always catch up to you, especially when you start to push boundaries and push limits. But yeah, I don't know how often people will fall for these matchup tricks. Um, I guess it's all in the pre-fight movie, with all the
Yeah,
sharp bursts, like you say, of
yeah,
explosiveness and all that kind of stuff that capture people's attention. But
yeah. It's like a movie trailer. You know when you see that one
yeah,
movie trailer that
exactly.
yo, that looks so hard, and I got to watch that movie,
Yep.
and then when you get it, movies are dead.
Yep.
Exactly like that.
Like
Same
that's the
script.
hardest scene in any movie. That's it. Like that one moment. But yeah, I guess kudos to bullfighters for making money on it. I
Mm-hmm.
mean,
Might
they've
might
seemed
walk
to
with that
have
20
some.
million. He had to
Yep.
spend about 20, was that 16 minutes of his life just going around there, tapping around, and he get 20 million.
Yep.
I signed that contract too, and it was him.
Hey, we all
Easy
would.
20 million.
I know that for a fact, but hey,
All right, then.
good on them. Let me talk this basketball talk though, because I had enough of that already. Let me discuss the top 5 teams in the NBA right now. We know straight off the bat, Cavaliers number one.
Of course, without a doubt. But you want to start? Let me start at number one because number one a little bit more
Yeah.
predictable. So you got Cavs as 0-1. I got Cavs as 1. All right. So I think the synopsis for this is very easy.
Mhm.
Cavaliers are 15 and 0 on the season, and every week I can come back and
Ripping it.
say I said it. I said it. Number one in
Yeah.
the East, and doing something that hasn't been done since a team back in the time when we probably parents wasn't even born. I think the
Yep.
Washington Capitals or something like that. They're the fourth team in NBA history to win 15 straight games since the start of the season undefeated. And
Yeah.
right now they're number one in offense, and we've been seeing it every single night. That ball is zipping across the court. Every time they get the ball, it's just moving. One of the best ball movement teams in the NBA, outside of the Warriors right now. And even
Yeah.
Draymond, I don't really like to quote Draymond because that man is be a joker. But even Draymond admitted to the fact that his head was on a swivel when they played against them that night, and got
Yeah.
demolished by 40 so many points. His head was on a swivel, so he gave them props coming from a man that will obviously know it because he was part of those Warrior teams that played a similar type of way.
Yeah.
So Cavaliers, unquestionably the best team in the NBA right now. I put that at the
Hmm.
top. And my number two is actually a team that I just mentioned, a team with a man like Dream on it, the Golden State Warriors. I
Surprisingly
got the
for
Warriors
me,
at.
like to be honest, I'm between Celtics and Warriors, but the reason why I would give Warriors number two is because I think all their players that used to be role players really develop a lot and really step up.
Mhm.
You're talking about Jonathan Kaminga, Wiggins, all these guys playing out their mind right now and playing
Yep.
some really good basketball. So
Buddy
I
Hield.
would give them the edge. Yep. But he'll come back and playing his part as well.
Yeah.
I honestly thought that Warriors would have been as good as they were last season, which is considering
Kind
in
of.
the West a decent team
Mhm.
to mediocre if you're just looking at the West, but they were like a solid team overall. Um, but I really thought that they wouldn't improve much, to be honest.
Mhm.
And it
I can
seems
see
like
that.
they've been clicking off, man. So good on them. They had a big game, which was one of our predictions against the Mavs, and I
Mhm.
really thought
That was
the
probably best
Mavs
game for the
had that.
season, to be honest. Probably best games for the season
Yo,
so far. We got must admit that was good vibes in terms of energy, and
correct.
just the whole story around it and everything.
Splash Brothers
But
coming head to head. Clay got
yep.
a welcome home type thing, and all the players didn't want to lose. And Steph
Hmm.
was like, "It's nap time, night night."
Exactly. Night.
Winning by 2 points is like, oh my god, like.
Hmm.
I was hurt because I had Mavs to win, obviously. 'Cause I was like, oh my god, this guy going off. But yeah, for sure, Golden State Warriors would be my number two team right now.
Yeah, so they are fourth in offense and fourth in defense on the season. And I said this coming into the season is going to be Steph Curry led, but they really have to get a lot from the role players on the team because it's Steph Curry and a
Mhm.
bunch of role players, in my opinion. Or
Yeah,
you could say Steph and Draymond and a bunch of role players. I love the addition of Buddy Hield, and he was pretty much replacing what Clay does, and right now doing it at an even better rate. Buddy Hield, we
yeah,
put out a stat yesterday with the top 10 3-point shooters by percentage on the Instagram page. If you ain't following the Instagram page, check out the Instagram page for more stats and stuff like that so we could keep up with the NBA season. But Buddy Hield shooting 46.9% on 8 threes a game. That is
insane,
absurd. That is absurd.
insane.
And throughout the
That's
last
Steph
5 years,
numbers.
yes, and throughout the last 5 years, he and Steph is the best two 3-point shooters in the league throughout the last 5 years. So you got the two best 3-point shooters in the league throughout the last 5 years on the same team, and the vibes are immaculate. The ball is going around. I think they're number one in assists. I just talked about the cash sharing the ball, but the Warriors doing it just as good.
Yep.
Number one in assists, and they got the highest bench scoring in the league at like 50 something points. So the Warriors just doing it all over again. When every time we think that this team is the dynasty is going to end, they find a
Yeah.
way to reignite the flame and they just keep doing it.
But it's a new dynasty though, because a couple of the guys kind of gone from that era.
Well, yeah, but a new dynasty in the terms of the make up the team, but the
Yeah,
team's soul and the team's core is Steph Curry at the end of the day and Draymond.
yeah.
So they're keeping that team burning, man.
That's facts. My
Mhm.
number three, like I mentioned, would be Celtics. Getting edged by the Warriors.
Yeah,
Um, Even
same.
though they're not as up as the Cavs in the East right now, they're still doing what they need to do.
Mhm.
Still winning a lot more games than they are losing. I think they only have like 3 losses or so for the season so far, um, with 11 wins, I believe.
Mhm.
So good on them. They got a 3 point shooter that killing it right now. That who would have thought? Um, Pritchard is just insane from the 3 point line, in my
Yep, he
opinion.
was on the list too.
Yeah, he's a very decisive shooter
Mhm.
at this point. Very
Yeah.
confident, and I honestly gotta give props to the man because I was not expecting Pritchard to not to say that he didn't have the talent, but he was not on the top of the list to be like saying, "Oh yeah, this man can hit trees for Celtics." You know,
No,
we had other names in mind.
well, if you watched last season, well, coming into this season, I'm pretty sure he do it sometime either in the preseason or the season four so far. He is the half
Yeah,
court buzzer beater king in the NBA right now. He
yeah,
might just do it every single time. Like, it's not a fluke, no. So if a man
yep,
can do that on a consistent basis, you gotta expect him to be a sniper. Maybe I guess we didn't expect him to take it at this height this season, but he's really
hmm
doing well on that end. 42% on almost 9 attempts a game. That is absolutely insane efficiency for the shot volume that he's putting up and coming off the bench. That's the thing about it.
yeah,
He ain't getting as much minutes as the other guys. He coming off the bench. I can say the same thing for Buddy Hield too. Coming off the bench too and just lighting it up,
yeah,
lighting it up. So you like to have those types of guys on the team because they could really make a difference in terms of keeping the space open and providing that offensive punch off the bench to keep things
hmm
steady when the starters are out.
certainly, certainly. Um, who do
I,
you have
I,
as your number three though?
well, back on the
Celtics as
Celtics
well.
a little bit. Well, the Celtics, just a little note. They're second in offense
Hmm
this season so far, and 10th in defense. I can see the take a little slide on the defense, but they've been kind of so in terms of the defensive side, in my opinion, this season. It's still been good, but I feel like they could be a little bit better. We'll see how it
Mhm.
goes. And yeah, Jason Tatum has been on fire too. I think people have been sleeping on him this season, to be honest. He's playing actually to MVP caliber. I don't know. Just Tatum's get so much here. I don't know if he'll actually get some nods for it, but he should be top three on the list given the how the Celtics have been performing overall and what he's been averaging on the season.
Why do you think he gets so much hate though? Like, is it because they squandered a championship a few years back, or like, what's the real reason for all this hit?
I really don't know. It just seems so random. I just feel like everybody's be hating on the man for no reason. It
Mm,
just seems so weird, but it's a man that averaging 29 points on decent to okay efficiency. This is the thing about it. I don't think he's shooting as well as he could, but
yeah.
46% from the field, 38% from three, and he's taking a lot of game too, like maybe like 8 or 9, maybe 11. Anyway, within that range, 9 to 11 range, turns out attempts,
Mhm.
and he's doing a little bit of averaging because he's averaging 8 rebounds and almost 6 assists on the season. So he's doing exceptional, but there's just this weird thing in the ear about Jason Tatum that people just hating on him for no reason. I think it's the Kobe fanboy type of thing that put a negative stigma over Jason Tatum. Telling him to essentially try to be himself and start obsessing over Kobe. I think that might be it, but
Yeah.
I don't know. It's weird.
I think is the fact that like he's had a lot of expectation and a lot of people, I guess, are like, well, he didn't really show this when he needed to show this for a period of time, right? So now that he has won the championship, he can still get a little bit of hit. So he got kind of like, I don't want to say prove himself, but more or less show people that he's consistent with his performances. And
Yeah,
like you say, so far so good on the season, but I just think people want that when they say Jason Tatum, that they expect certain numbers, that they expect
yeah.
certain results, and not being, I guess, is disappointed the right word? Let down from
Mhm.
Jason Tatum when you really need him most. I feel like that's where
Okay.
the hit really comes from.
Okay, I don't know. I feel the way that the perception of him is right now for him to ever win MVP, he'll probably have to average a triple double or something like that, something outrageous like that. Even if he's
Yeah.
putting that MVP type numbers, it's just this thing. I don't know, but luckily, how much? I don't know how much. I don't think the if fans had a vote on it, he probably never win it. But maybe
Mhm.
maybe the people that actually do have a vote would actually see his greatness and probably put him in a position to to win the MVP this year or maybe next year, depending on his performance. But he's got off to a pretty good start, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
So you've talked about him being up there in the conversation. Just quickly, who else you got in the conversation so far?
Well, of course, I had Jokic. Remember last week, it was raving about the fact that I should have picked him again to win his fourth
Yeah.
MVP in the last couple of years because that man
Hmm.
has been doing something ridiculous. But we haven't seen him for a couple of games. He's been out for personal reasons, they say, over the past
Yeah.
couple of weeks. So him, um, Donovan Mitchell, gotta be in there, has to be
Yeah.
in there. Anybody else telling me otherwise is a joke. And I say Anthony Davis, man. Anthony Davis has been
Anthony
playing that
Davis.
numbers consistently, and they've been resulting to wins. Shout out to JJ Redick for making it a point to try to get Anthony Davis an MVP, as so far he's on the track to doing so. So those are my top four MVP picks right now.
Okay, cool. Let's see if Anthony Davis could keep it up. It would be nice to see him get something and kind of come out
Mhm.
of the shadow of LeBron in a sense.
I think he's doing it
Because
right
like,
now with his play. Truthfully,
correct. Yeah. Who's your number four team for the season
well,
so far?
a guy that I thought about mentioning just now my MVP pick, but I didn't do it. I feel like he's been a little bit low key. I know he's still playing at his numbers, but the OKC Thunder, man, I got him fourth.
Yeah.
This
Okay.
despite despite losing Chet, which I think will be a big blow in the long run rather than right now. Um,
Hmm.
Still got the number one defense in the league. Still, they're 12 in offense right now. But I think that defense can carry over because they just got so many homes on the perimeter. You got Alex Caruso, you got Lou
Yeah.
Dort, you got SGA in his own right. He's not even the best defender on the team. You got Jalen Williams. Oh my god, the laundry list of good defenders. You got Kason Wallace, their second year player. Uh, the defense I feel can be consistently good because it's a perimeter oriented league. Unless you got like a supremely talented big like Joel Embiid, Nikola Jokic, uh, if they can lock down the perimeter, they will continue to get rings. And I just think though why it dropped in so low on the list though, it's going to be tough in the next couple of weeks or the next couple of months actually, being without
Hmm.
chat. And then they're still without Isaiah Hardenstein. So they got lucky and got back a center a couple of days ago who was injured before the season. I think it's Cambridge
Yeah.
Williams. But obviously he's not on the level defensively as Chet or offensively, or on the level defensively as Isaiah Hardenstein either. So it's going to be an interesting next couple of weeks to see what is going to happen with them. But I still give them the nod for fourth place right now. They still have the second best record in the West, and I think probably like a top five record overall. So I think they will continue to be there for most of the season.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair. My my fourth pick, even though they're not that far up in the overall list, is Suns. I'm really
Ooh.
impressed, even without KD, that they've still found a way to come together and play hard basketball. Um,
Even though they ain't winning that much since KD, to be honest. But yeah.
yeah, but Devon's be cooking. I just think that they seem like a better unit
Mhm.
than last year, and they've been in some tough games. I'll say some pretty good games. Some obviously they've lost, and it's kind of throw some shade on what they've been doing so far. Like defense is not terrible. It's not horrible. It's something that they can work with their offense. We know Devin Book has been cooking. It's just that some of these teams that they've come up against, like Timberwolves, have been like some really tough games. Like I think that was a game that your boy
Julius
Julius
Randle.
Randle hit the buzzer beater
Yep.
rattling. Just throw the dog in, and Devin Booker went off in that game, and I think both teams played really good basketball. So looking forward to see where where that takes them. Is it's still early days. You still got the Emirates Cup to go. So
Mhm.
competition definitely going to heat up pretty soon. So yeah, that's my fourth pick. I'm really interested to see where Suns could take this.
Mhm. I just say that the Suns have looked a lot better than they did last season. They came out early in the
Mhm.
season and debunked their past season woes in terms of fourth quarter execution. Largely on the back of KD just being a crazy shot maker in the fourth. Truthfully, was on his way to claiming that clutch player of the year title
Yeah,
until he got injured, unfortunately. But they really flipped the switch. They got two good point guards. They got Tyus Jones, who has been really good. He was really good last night in that game against the Wolves. And even though he's not a big point scorer, but in critical moments down the stretch, he was making some key plays and making some
yeah,
big buckets. Um, we got Grayson Allen, who they missed coming out to the end of last season and heading into the playoffs with an injury because he only played like two games in the Timberwolves series in the first round.
yeah,
So got back him, and he's been looking good so far. He was killing the Wolves last night too, to be honest. So I like where the direction of the team, and truthfully, one of the things that the Suns have been underrated at this season is defense. And I think a
yeah,
lot of that had to do with Kevin Durant. I saw Kevin Durant playing some of the best defense that I've seen him play in a long time. and they've missed out over these past couple of games, and probably is the head reason why they have dropped so far down
Yeah.
in terms of collecting wins in the standings. So I don't know where they could replace that void. They have the rookie that has been playing excellent defense as well, but obviously you can. It's hard to replace a 7 foot freak that could guard you on the perimeter
Yeah.
and still defend the rim as well. You know,
Yeah.
so we'll see how they survive. But I think that's an okay pick for number 4. Who's your number 5 pick?
No,
I
I
think
want to
this
hear
could be
your
interesting.
number 4.
No, my number 4 was OKC. I want to hear number 4. Or
Oh,
you want to hear my
okay.
number
Sorry,
5
sorry,
first?
sorry.
Yeah,
I
yeah. Uh-huh.
totally missed that, like I sleeping or something.
Uh-huh.
Um, so my number 5 pick, you might
I
you
know
might
that this
laugh
gonna
at
be saying
me.
crazy.
uh,
I know this gonna be saying crazy. I tell myself so from the jump.
my all right. So this is this is against the grain. This has nothing to do with record or anything. This just
Mhm,
has to do with um how impressed I am with how they've been going about the basketball.
mhm.
And I can go with Grizzlies. I like what I
Oh
see from the
wow. Mhm,
Grizzlies.
mhm, mhm.
Um, Grizzlies have been playing hard basketball. They got the rookie. They got Ja back. Ja still trying to do some crazy things on the court.
Oh,
But I like that Ja is sharing the ball a lot. Like he looks like a different player from what we've seen before. He's still explosive in some sense, but he's sharing the ball a lot, and I like what I see from Ja so far for the season. Um, Everybody else just playing their part, doing their thing, and they've got pretty decent defenses as well. Um, for the season that I've seen, so
mhm.
I think well is not like a hot pick. Again, just like Suns, I'm interested to see where Grizzlies go with this. Um, I think they're just warming up, to be honest. So looking forward to see what they have in the bag. Not a hot tip, but I like in Grizzlies.
I don't think it's a bad take at all because that is a team that actually, even though their record doesn't reflect it, has been top 10 in defense and top 10 in offense on the season. And
Yeah.
truthfully, they've missed Ja a couple of games now. I am not sure if he's going to be back soon, but they're doing pretty fine. They're missing Marcus Smart now too as well. They getting back into
Mhm.
that injury cycle again, which is sad to see. But
Yeah.
I don't think it's a terrible pick if we looking at the outlook for the next couple of weeks, provided that they get back their guys. But they've been a decent team, even with playing rookies. That ED has been. I could see
Exactly. Yep.
a little bit under par with what I expected, but
Hmm.
he's still been doing a solid job. They just, I think that team just always finds a way to find players that give them the contribution that they need. They got Scottie Pippen Jr. out there
Pippin. Yep.
doing a dozen. Like they always find good talent and find a way to make them thrive. So once that once that squad has an for talent, they're going to win a lot of games. It seems.
Yeah.
I guess we gotta give a shout out to
As
their
long as it's still
coaches.
healthy too.
Yeah, yeah. We gotta give a shout out to their coaches. We could easily see them at near the top of the standings when it's all said and done for the season, and they wouldn't be
Yeah.
surprised. So that's a good pick. My number 5 pick for the top 5 teams in the NBA right now
East or
is
West.
the Houston Rockets. Houston Rockets. Houston Rockets. Houston Rockets.
Yeah.
A little bit off the grid, a little bit too. I would say there were some other contenders for this spot in my standings. I was thinking about
Yeah.
the Timberwolves, but I felt like even though they won these last 2 games against quality opponents in the Suns and the Kings, those Portland losses last week were back-to-back losses to Portland, by the way, were
Hmm.
were to me as a Timberwolves fan unforgivable, and I want to give them
Yeah.
the nod. There's also the Lakers as well. The Lakers have been playing really well. I still think they need to up the defense a whole lot. The Knicks haven't been terrible, but they haven't been great either. I was considering them, and obviously the Nuggets, but Jokic has been out. I don't know how much longer he'll
Mhm.
be out, but our team's looks bad without him, as expected.
Yeah.
Um, I guess there are a few other honorable mentions, but I went with the Rockets
Mavs
for two
too.
reasons.
Mavs is honorable
Yeah,
mention. They had
Mavs coming in.
some tough schedule over the last couple of games, but they're still playing good basketball. I still like what you see. I still think Clay needs to get into rhythm some more. Like he's
Yeah.
not shooting as much as he should be. Maybe he's not getting the looks. He still looks a little bit lazy on the court sometimes.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think like you say, yes, there are some other teams that even though their records aren't showing it, they're still playing pretty good basketball, and I think it just speaks to the team so far, like the competition. I just
Yeah, the
think
parity.
is good competition all around.
Yeah, all wrong. I can say except for the East to some degree.
Yeah, except
The
for
East, the
in the
East has been
West
a
we talked
cupcake
about.
for the East. Like this is the thing. I don't think the Cavs play many West teams yet. So that's probably why their record looks so good because they're playing a
Mhm.
lot of cupcake East teams. They didn't really get
Hey, they
separated
played
into the West
Golden
yet.
State, so
Yeah, but that's one of the few that they played, and the
yeah.
Met makes me also them. But
Let's see what happens when they play size like
yeah,
Lakers team or
yeah, correct.
like Timberwolves team.
Hmm.
That would definitely test because they got two bigs, but the rest of the guys
Hmm.
pretty small.
Yeah,
So I would like to see those matchups for sure.
yeah. But continuing about the Rockets, I think that they have been a team that has had a lot of talent over the past couple of years and haven't really got it to mesh together well. And
Hmm.
now we are seeing signs of that happening. They have a good coach in Ime Udoka who's really this. If there's a defensive coach of the year award, it has to go to this man because there's no way that I would think that this Rockets team would ever commit to playing defense, especially for being one such a young team and two not having a great defensive center. Alperen Sengun, even though he's a great offensive talent, is not a great defensive center. But somehow
Mhm.
the Rockets are third on defense on the season. Somehow. And I could say that's predicated largely on the athleticism and the youth that they have on their team and their bench. They got some dogs coming off the bench, especially defensively. You got Amen Thompson, uh,
Mhm.
you got Tyree Eason coming off the bench. You got Dylan Brooks in the starting five as well. And they
Yep.
really got those guys to buy in. You got Van Fleet, even though he's a small guard, he's really a hone on the ball as well. So they got some guys out there on the perimeter that could kind of cover Shangun's flaws on defense. But I don't want to try to share that Shangun. He's been pretty decent on defense this year. Hence the
Yep.
reason why the defense has been so good. I guess I know I picked them five, but I don't think they have had a real test. They've had some quality wins over the Euro Dallas Mavericks,
Mhm.
and I think they beat like the Spurs a couple times. I don't know if you would consider Spurs a good team. They beat the Grizzlies too
Not really.
earlier this
Yeah.
year. They beat the Knicks as well. So
Mhm.
those are some good wins that I could say they had a relatively easy schedule, but I see the makings of something that could be sustainable. And I am putting some money on a little bit to be sustainable over the course of the season. So shout out to the Rockets. Shout out to the
You
young
think
guys doing some stuff. Go ahead.
you think Rockets is the new Pacers for the West based on what we saw Pacers do last
Yeah,
season?
that's a good way to put it. That's a good way to put it. I think they can be the new Pacers. I don't know if it exactly goes so because last year they got
Yeah.
off to a pretty good start, and then during the tail end of the season they just faltered. I'm hoping
Mhm.
that they could have a change. I don't know who this will bump out on my list in terms of who's not going to make it in the playoffs, but I like to see new stuff. I think everybody
Yep.
likes new things,
Yep.
so
For sure.
it'll be interesting to see the Rockets
But
being
new
a
things that make
competitive
sense
force.
though. Not
Yeah, but
not like
this
what we
this
see
do
in
not make sense. Well, yeah, this do not make sense because I think they have the
yeah.
makings of a good team. They can, and if they once they continue to get a consistent Jalen Green, he's been always been a enigma for their team, especially on offense.
Yeah.
Shangun, I think, will be an all star this year, and he's already put in the all star numbers right now. So he's the team's carry, team's MVP, to be honest, and he's been playing great. So once they stay healthy, they continue to play on the defensive end. Um, Most top 10 defenses make the playoffs. So if they can keep that, they'll be in a good spot.
And they got big boy Steven Adams too. So
Exactly. Oh, they sent him
another,
brick wall squeeze.
yeah, nobody can never get through. Um, Speaking of, I want you to, of all the basketball you watched, this is a little diversion, but all the basketball you've watched this week, what is your highlight?
That was a question. Last night was epic. That game against the Timberwolves versus Suns. Because obviously I can watch the Timberwolves game as a fan. I didn't get to watch
Yeah,
the Steph Miles game. But that game was top tier. Like the whole fourth quarter, from the jump in the fourth quarter, it was just back
yeah,
and forth buckets. McDaniel's crazy dunk over Mason Plumlee. Devin Booker hitting some crazy 3-pointers. Like great
yeah,
back and forth action. And then the final play of the game, Julius Randle, who we know on this channel, not my favorite player, but he on my team, so I can support him.
yeah.
Came in clutch with
Pretty
the
rattlesnake.
game-winning tree. Game-winning tree. Some people talk about. I don't know if you got to see it. The moment. Some people talk
It
about
was
it was a push
close.
off. It was a push off, but I feel it was more a flop than a push off. I just feel like
Yeah,
even if Josh Okogie, even if he touch you or nudge you, you play that straight up because is you on time versus him. You got two
yeah,
dependency, time and you. So you just
yep,
gotta play that straight up and not flop. Come on. But
yeah.
I take it. I take it. That is Josh Okogie giving it back to the Wolves for paying him a little money because he was on the Wolves before. So thank you, Josh Okogie, for giving us some reparations to some degree. Uh, I appreciate it. Thanks for the win. Julius Randle, 3-point buzzer would be the moment of the week for me.
So the buzzer beater is the moment of the week for you,
Yeah.
not the dunk.
Not the dunk. Nah, the buzzer beater. The dunk,
It was
yes, it
okay.
contributed to a win, but
Mhm.
the 3-pointer was sealed the win. Never thought I'd be celebrating that Julius Randle 3-point buzzer beater.
Hey, better get used to it because Julius Randle
Yep.
playing real good basketball so far for the
Yeah, he
season.
is.
So really impressed with Julius and how he's fit. Um, cool. So
I mean, actually, while we on it, we could just get into
yeah,
it now. Revisiting the KAT and Julius Randle trade. Well,
hmm
evaluating their performance so far in the season. Um, both teams have been pretty middling, if we're being honest.
yeah,
I guess we could pick a side to start with. Let's start with the Timberwolves since we just mentioned Julius Randle. The Timberwolves as a team, to be honest, have been very, very inconsistent. And I think, especially with trades, we always want it to be an instant fit solution. And it's rarely ever that case. There are
hmm
very few teams who get a player and be immediately good. We could just look at some trades over the last couple of seasons and see it. Like, for example, DeJounte Murray to the Atlanta Hawks. It wasn't really that great the first year. Rudy Gobert to CM Timberwolves. It wasn't really that great the first year. Damian Lillard, Bucks. I know it's really not good, no.
terrible,
I know it's not good, no. But it
terrible.
really wasn't that good the first year.
It was never
Um,
good so far.
I can say the Cavs. The Cavs got Donovan Mitchell. It wasn't really that
Yeah,
great the first year either. Um, so many teams over the last couple of years,
Philly
you've
with
been seeing that.
Harding. Yeah,
Yep. I mean, it turned out to be great eventually because you got Embiid. Embiid was having an MVP season. Um,
yeah,
but there's always an acclimation period that you need to go through with the teams. I can say both teams, both the Timberwolves and the Knicks, are going through that period to some degree. Um, but on the Timberwolves side, Julius Randle has been very, very, very solid. DiVincenzo, on the other hand, has not been having a great start with his tenure at the Timberwolves. He had a great game last night, 5 for 10 from three, great 3-point shooting, provided that spark that we expect him to bring off the bench. Um, But one of the big things for the team on a whole has been the defense, and I don't feel like neither of the two players have been a great have had a great transition into the defense. Not to say that it's only on them, but Julius Randle has been meh, if even good. I don't know what his stats look like. His stats may say it other ways, but I don't feel that he's had an impact on the defensive end that lends to the identity that the Timberwolves had last season as the number one defense in the league.
Yeah.
DiVincenzo has been solid all around. I don't have anything to complain, but there's only one player on the Timberwolves that has been exceptionally consistent. Well, two, not even, yeah, maybe one and a half. I would say Nikhil Alexander Walker and Rudy Gobert is the half part. Um, Everybody else have been wildly inconsistent. And Jaden, a lot of the other players, Nas, haven't been great. So from that perspective, they have not contributed to the identity that made the Timberwolves successful last season. And the Timberwolves on a whole haven't been playing with that identity. So I think that is the acclimation process that they're trying to get back to. Therefore, we've seen them having some sways. But ultimately, I think Julius Randle's performance so far has been very efficient on the offensive end. He has bring a little bit more to the offense. I don't feel like it has been exponential, which is, I would say, the issue that he would have been brought to solve.
Yeah.
And we still get to see the best of Dante DiVincenzo. So there's a lot of room to grow for the Timberwolves. And I think we just need to give it a little bit more time. I don't know, what's your thoughts?
On the but on the defensive end, though, were you were you expecting from Dante and Julius Randle? To be honest,
Dante is really good on defense, man. He's but when I watch him on the Knicks, he really
Mhm.
gets after it. Not to say that he hasn't been doing the same at the Wolves. Maybe it's less impactful because the team has not been good collectively. But Dante gets after it on the defensive end, man. I think he's been
yeah.
really good for the times that I've seen him on the Knicks. So far, he's been, I would say, solid on the Timberwolves. But for the Randle, I don't know what you would really get out of him, to be honest. I guess you would hope that bringing him into a team with that defensive identity would, help him to give more on that end. But if the team themselves is not having that defensive identity from their core players, how do you expect to get from Julius Randle?
Yeah, but like you guys lost Cat, even though Cat used to have a lot of fouls and stuff. He
Mhm.
was still, I would say, a very valuable piece in your guys' identity, given that he's also a big guy.
Mhm.
Um, how would Julius Randle kind of filling in that space, knowing like what the identity was and the role that Cat would have played in it?
He can't. He just can't. I just don't think. I
Yeah,
think that's just
so
a matter of
so that
size.
means like it's going to be a shift then. Like you
Yeah,
guys
that's
got
that's
to
the thing. I think that's part of why it's been not that great because it's trying
right.
to find a role for Julius Randle defensively um, would cause you to shift. You don't have as much length. Another key loss that the Timberwolves had in the offseason was Kyle Anderson. He's on the Warriors now.
Yeah.
Big loss to the team. And him and Cat just made that team huge, which fed into that whole defensive identity. If you got so many long guys on the floor, like how you can score, even though
Yeah.
Cat is not like fast in the move, he just long. You can't
Hmm.
you can't teach being that size. So
Correct.
I think being a little bit smaller team is impacting them as well, and they're having to adjust to that. With the new additions in Dante and Randall has been a little bit of an acclamation that they haven't really, you know, overcame.
Okay. Fair enough. So I guess that you would expect that Julius Randle then will have a bigger role defense because even when he was at Knicks, I don't think he was playing much defense either. I feel like he sees himself as an offensive player and is more focused on that than anything else, and is kind of hoping that the rest of the team will figure out the defensive part of it.
I don't think that's his mentality, but I do think that he probably doesn't prioritize defense. He's not gonna, he's never tell you that he's taking a break, but I just think he's just not that. It's not a defensive type of guy, in my
Mhm.
opinion. Um,
Yeah, but you have to be though if you want to win
I,
games. Like
yeah,
you gotta be on point from the beginning, and then when it's time to even switch to a different gear, gotta be able to do that.
mhm.
Unless they can find somebody else from off the bench that would give them that defense that they need when they need it.
Thing about it is, I
But it's
don't
tough
know
because
because
you can be trading offense.
yeah, correct. So I don't think that would be the case. Jalen Randle will just have to figure out, or the coaches will just
Mhm.
have to figure out way to maximize, find an assignment that's good for Julius Randle to do the things that he's good at on defense, if there's anything at all that he's good at on defense to do, truthfully. But
Sure.
from an offensive perspective, he's been pretty awesome individually. Uh,
Yeah.
I just want to see some more. I want to see more of an impact from a team perspective because if you just come in and give me points, Cat pretty much used to do that. I think the flaw with Cat is he didn't really have the creation bag to be able to get the teammates involved as much, which is kind of the flip
Mhm.
script of what's happening with him now in the Knicks. To be honest,
Yeah.
I guess we since we here just go to the Knicks. The Knicks have been also middling. They've lost some really tough games. I've watched a couple of them where they lost some nail biters,
Mhm.
really and truly. Some against the same Cavs. They had some a good one against the Cavs. They won a nail biter their last game. Can't remember who they played. The Nets. Yeah, went on to the
Yeah.
way against the Nets. They lost a close game that they shouldn't have lost. Josh Hart
Gilbert's old
against the
team.
Bulls.
Yeah.
Against the Bulls, I don't know. They make Cat had like 46 or something like that.
Hey, Bulls ain't too bad, yo.
Yeah, I was saying the same thing. The Bulls ain't too choppy, but they're not
Yeah.
great either.
No. Yeah. They didn't make any like big steps up, but they're not as like
That's terrible as we
trashy
talking
as
about
they
to be.
were.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
last season.
Um, so they've been also kind of trying to work through their identity. They're a little bit different in my opinion because they got two big pieces to acclimate with Bridges and Cat.
Yeah.
Bridges and Cat. So defensively, they are like ranked 20th in the NBA right now. And offensively, they're third, which is really, really good. And it meets the eye test. The
Which is
offense
what I
has looked,
thought that they were going for
yeah,
if you go and get
yeah,
Cat and
yeah,
Bridges.
exactly, exactly. A little bit of what you
But
would expect, right?
yeah.
But the defense got to be better. The defense got to
Yeah,
be
but
better.
they got two guys that well, not saying Cat, but
Mhm.
Cat still gotta like they still gotta figure out the defense with Cat, right? Because they didn't have that before. So it's kind of similar to Timo Wills, but then you got Bridges who's not known for
Supposed
defense
to be.
like that either.
No, 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 no. Did Mikael Bridges
He
was
is
runner up in the
not from what I've seen, but then
not yeah,
again, I
not
gotta
from
look
what
at the
correct,
stats.
correct. But you're right. Not from what not this Mikael Bridges. Mikael
Right.
Bridges, son's Mikael Bridges was I think runner up or in the top three in defensive player of the year for teams. Not too long ago, And all of a sudden his defensive abilities have vanished into thin air. I don't know what has happened to him. But
From
is
the time
that
like so I was aware of Mikhail considering that I still fairly fresh to NBA as a whole. Like
Mhm,
my my introduction to Mikhail was when he was on Nets,
mhm.
and all I was seeing was offense. I saw nothing that said defense when it really come to Mikhail Bridges. So
And
yeah,
that's accurate
you saying that's
from your
surprising me
perspective.
because
Yeah.
I'm like, huh?
Yep.
Bridges
Yep.
defense? I've
Yep.
never seen it.
I think it was the year that Giannis won Defensive Player of the Year that he was like running up or something like that on his Suns.
Mm.
So yeah, he was a defensive stopper. And the idea around this whole thing is we could get Cat. We know that Cat is never going to be a great rim protector ever. That we just put out the window one time. I think the Knicks know that. The stats regarding to Cat's defense has been actually atrocious to start the year. I hear some stats being thrown around about players like shooting 78% or close to 80% in the paint when he's when he's the nearest defensive opponent. So
Yes,
horrible.
that's crazy.
But
Given
the idea,
his as
given
well.
his size, but defense has to do with coordination and stuff like that. And I just feel like cat feet too big to slide in puppies. To be sometimes he does it, but a lot of times he doesn't. And I just feel like you could easily fit him. He is very jumpy on the defensive end. Any pump fake
Yeah,
gets him in a lot of pump fakes get him in the air. That's where he falls so much. And he doesn't.
right.
I don't know how to say it. He tried to guard with his hip, but like with his upper body, I don't know how he does it. He is
Like
very
shift it, like
unorthodox. Yeah,
when the guy's like trying to go
he
left or
trying to
right, he
drive in.
shift his
Yeah,
body.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and that's how he picks up a lot of his fouls. Like
Mhm.
he always playing his hands, which yes, he don't be using his hands, but you trying to use your upper body to defend. Yeah, that ain't gonna work. That ain't gonna
Yeah.
work.
Gotta move your
Uh,
feet, buddy.
but the idea behind this whole next thing is you got elite elite perimeter defenders in OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges, and you got Josh Hart on your defense end to be able to cover for Cat, so he doesn't have to carry such a big load. The defense will be covered on the perimeter. But the only people that are actually doing well, OG's been exceptional on defense for the Knicks on the perimeter, and Josh Hart has been solid. It's still a Jalen Brunson problem because Jalen Brunson is still a small guard. He's going to get picked on. People are going to target him and pick and roll. And
Yep.
so has been happening for the season so far. So it's just a matter of, to me, the Knicks success right now comes down to Mikal Bridges tapping into his former years as a Sun and being a better defensive player, and to some degree being a better 3-point shooter um, around the court. He's been good in the corners, which he has always been for his whole career. But getting more 3-point shots up in different places on the court as well would be
Mhm.
good for the team and probably boost their offense to what I think is the only way they could actually make some noise in the playoff is if they have they got a top 3 offense right now, but maybe for them to make the finals, for the Knicks to make the finals, they will have to have the best offense in the league. Truthfully.
I think what Mikhail could also do is keep working on that mid range game because he got the line for it.
Yeah, he working it.
Um, and he got a smooth shot in my opinion, based on
Mhm.
some of what I've seen. So he could definitely make use of that and you know have more volume of shots at the rim, which obviously would generally convert into better offensive power for the team, especially if you turn up those kind of numbers. So he could also work on that. But yeah, I agree. Being like having good looks from different spots on the court, especially in like he might not be the go-to guy for the pick and roll, but
Mhm.
at least movement. You know what made Steph so good too, like in terms of getting looks, is movement. Like
Yeah.
when Steph don't got the ball off the ball movement, Steph Curry's like king.
Yep.
When
King of
he's
that.
not like he would catch, don't see a look, toss it to somebody else running wrong, the guy is screening or something, dodge from right court to left, and
Yeah.
like just try to always find space. So
Yeah.
I think some guys need to develop that as well and not be this lazy guy just sitting waiting until you you get a pass in one spot. Like be able to, well, I guess that also comes from knowing where your sweet spot is, right? If you only got one sweet spot, then you can always try to like drift towards that spot. But I feel like Steph got a
Correct.
million sweet spots, so probably why he shoot from everywhere. But still,
I
that
think
needs to
that's
be developed in
I
each
think that's a
player,
great point.
especially as a shooter.
I think that is a great point. I think that is what made Steph not just a good player, but one of the best players of all time. Truthfully, that
Mhm.
specific attribute, the willingness to move without the ball. If more people were willing to do that, their game would probably open up a lot more. And I could show
Yeah.
it to Ant right now for he said it himself. taking that, getting more catch and shoot trees, moving more off the ball. And I've seen it in his game. We see him taking a lot more trees, but I don't think his catch and shoot trees has gone up that much. But I've seen the willingness to move without the ball a little bit more for Ant, and it's
Yeah.
already translating to him having one of the best offensive starts of the season he's had
Yeah.
in his young career. So if more players could to take that, they would see they would see some great returns in their game. Truthfully,
Yeah. And that's probably why that kind of play works for Golden State because like you said, like they're always passing, right? Similar
mm-hmm.
to what Cavs is doing
Passing,
right now. Like they
yeah,
always passing
cutting,
the ball and
yeah,
exactly. So like these are little things that I guess boost that team's identity and effectiveness on the offensive end.
yeah,
And if because I think also too that most people that we know that are good 3-point shooters, they're good pull up or run and shoot 3-point shooters. But when you're talking about catch and shoot 3-point shooters, there there are a few that can do it like Steph. And I think that if players can do that, then we'll definitely see a different league for sure.
yeah. And I guess we didn't really get to dive into much about Cat, but just quickly, Cat has been exceptional offense for the Knicks. To be honest, he's been their best offensive player for the season, putting up some
Hmm.
crazy numbers. I see him diamond up some teammates like crazy. I don't understand why he couldn't do this on the Timberwolves, but caveat is obviously he was playing with Rudy Gobert. I think most people know that Cat's best position is probably the five, but the problem with that is he's not a good defensive five. So you gotta find a way
Yeah,
to cover him on the perimeter, and that limits your ceiling. Um, Cat has been awesome for the Knicks. Truthfully, I can't lie.
yeah.
Uh, so
I think yeah,
both
go ahead.
teams. I was just gonna say both teams um, got are getting the best out of the best players in the trade, and I think that's a way to win. I think
Yeah,
ultimately we'll continue to see them get better and better as the season progresses with more chemistry and more acclamation from both players, from all players.
fair. I think also what's hurting Knicks is the fact that Brunson is trying to adapt his
Hmm.
gameplay to suit the trade as well.
Yeah,
So not sure if he should switch up so much and overdo it in terms of trying to get these players the ball. But
mhm.
he's been really good on the offensive end last season, and
Yeah,
he should maintain a lot of that
yeah,
so that they have a lot more options. Because now, if players start to really try to isolate him, that frees up the hot hands, right? That
yeah.
frees up
Correct.
Cat, that frees up Mikhail. And OG too, to some extent, has a
Yeah,
pretty decent shot average. So
yeah. He's
yeah, I
been
think
OG has been great for the team so far.
mhm. Yeah, so I think we still got a lot of games to go, and
Yeah,
we
yeah, we do.
still got a lot of time to see how
But
these
if you
teams
if,
develop.
if you had to give it a grade for each team, what would you give it? Well, let me start with the Timberwolves.
Um, if I had a great Timberwolves for right now, based on what I feel they should be at, I would probably give them a B minus.
Hmm.
I would give
I
Timberwolves
see.
a B minus. There's a lot of room for growth there.
Yeah, for sure. I'd say a C right now, and that is a little bit because I feel like the team should be a little bit better coming into the season in terms of the
A little bit better
defensively.
is not a C though, fam.
Well, a lot better. Let me tell you about a lot better.
Okay.
All right, C plus. Let me put it there. C plus.
That's
A C plus.
fair enough.
And I'd give the Knicks. Uh, I'd give them a B because I feel like they have a more clear identity. We seeing the identity that you would expect them to have play out. On the Timberwolves
Yeah.
side, I can't really tell you what's the identity for the team right now. It's kind of more of a question mark as to what it is. So that's why I would give the Knicks a B.
For the Nets, I think I would give the Nets a B as well. because I think just like I said, um, Brunson gotta figure out that balance, and Bridges should be, in my opinion, more effective
Mhm.
um, for the team. And he don't really got big shoes to fill based on who he was traded for the team per se. I think he could bring a lot more, and
Yeah,
that's what Knicks need right now. So
yeah,
I would give them a B as well. So a B for
yeah.
Knicks, a B minus for Timberwolves.
I think that's reasonable.
Lot of
It might be a little bit
potential to
harsh.
unlock.
Yeah, for
Huh?
sure. I said it might be a little bit harsh on my own team because you want to see them do
Yeah.
better.
See, I ain't sure. I think you're asking a lot as a fan, but I guess that's fair, right? Like
Mhm.
if you grade them hard, then maybe they will fight harder to get
Yeah,
points. Let me talk quickly about Lamelo's heroics in fourth quarter, and I think this is against the Bucks team.
this
Um,
is period.
pe-
This is Lamelo
Talk
period.
about it.
Lamelo has
Lobby
been
balling.
fuego, fuego. He's absolutely, truthfully, Lamelo got to be top two. Got to be a top two guard in the NBA right now. Right now, if we just objectively speaking, just looking at this moment, top two, top two,
Uh,
top two. I ain't
okay.
saying not number two, top two though.
Who might be in the running for the next top two spot?
Um, who's the best guard in the NBA right now? Hmm,
Oh,
that's a
let's
good
see.
question. I would say, I mean, if we being honest, if we
You
looking at
weren't
the
even
wins
as
and all that,
excited for this other pick.
and no, no, no,
You
no,
know,
no, no, no,
like,
no. But we kind of talk with Lamelo. We kind of talk with boy else. But if it
okay,
was to
okay,
say
freedom.
somebody right now, just looking at the season so far, I'd probably say I would say Darius Garland. In my opinion, that is probably a hot take. But I just feel like what he's doing for that team holistically. I know Donovan Mitchell
Mhm.
is having a great season as well, but I feel
Yeah.
like Darius Garland has been the primary key to their success in terms of how he's got the ball moving and he's still getting buckets and he's closing the games. He's doing everything. So Darius Garland for me right now. So my 1-2, just looking at the next season, I ain't saying these the best
Yeah.
players in the NBA or anything like that.
Agreed. Agreed.
Darius Garland number one, LaMelo number two, just based on their individual performances and their impact on the team right now.
Got
So
you. Got you.
let me get into LaMelo. LaMelo
Yeah.
has been averaging 29.7. I think he's like top four in the. I think he's number four in points per game.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah, I think so overall, or he might be number three. Can't remember, but 29.7 points a game, 5 rebounds, and almost 7 assists. Uh, Absolutely bonkers in the fourth quarter. He's averaging the most fourth quarter points in the league right now at 11 points per game, and he's doing it extremely efficiently. 55% from the field, 40% from three, and 90% for the free throw line. That's I could say one of the underrated stats in the fourth quarter. Gotta be able to knock in free throws in the clutch games. And speaking of clutch, the Melo obviously F in the fourth quarter, getting buckets. You know he's going to be clutch too. So the Hornets played in 6 clutch situation games, and clutch is defined as the last 5 minutes of a game where the score is less than 5 points. And the Hornets are 4-2. I remember saying earlier this season, I am high on the when we did our over under predictions. I am high on the
Yeah.
Hornets as long as the Melo stays healthy. The record is not bearing out to be super duper true right now, but I like what I have seen from them so far. I think they're always
Yeah.
a fun watch when LaMelo is playing. Uh, this guy is absolutely bonkers when it comes to shooting the trees right now.
Mhm.
Generally speaking, that coming into the league, I thought that would have been one of his weak points because the shot look wonky, kind of like his brother as well. But he's made that thing sing from far too. I just don't know. Just don't know, but he'd be hitting
Not
them.
about how you shoot, but the results.
Yep. If we look at high volume shooters in the league right now, uh, he's one of the best. Maybe I think he's maybe in the top 15 or so. But if we just filter it for players that shooting above 10 trees a game. He got to be in the top three for sure. He's shooting like 12 trees a game, and he's making it 38%, which is still above the league average. League average about 36.5%. So insane gunning from LaMelo. Right now, he has the title of King of the Fourth Quarter, which we usually reserve for men like, well, this season KD. Normally, DeMar DeRozan is usually the King of the Fourth Quarter, but right now, LaMelo is taking that crown.
I agree. I mean, I really don't got no qualms about it, and is just because like we always say, your team has to be in these situations in order to see these kind of attributes of the players.
Yep.
And I think we just in a position where we're seeing it. I mean, to be having this conversation and not even mentioning Steph really is because we was mentioning Steph last season. Like Steph had to be that great last season.
He won it. He won the Clutch Player of the Year last season.
Exactly. So I mean,
he has been.
I don't know if this is a award that you really want, especially if your team not going places with it. It could be one of those concession awards where you be like, all right, yeah, we can give you Clutch Player. See you next season type of thing. Hopefully this turns into something better than that. And hey, I would like to see some, like you said earlier, some new teams, something different, especially when we get into the playoffs. Playoffs is only a few months away. So hey, this time going to fly fast. I know there's a lot of basketball to come, but yeah, excited
no rush your hands
to see
no
what
rush
like. Hey,
the
year can rush itself. It's always happening that way. But yeah, I agree. I don't have another pick in terms of Clutch Player, but that point guards talk. We need to have that. We need to have that point guard talk.
So next episode, best point guards in the NBA or best guards in the NBA.
Have to be. I would like to hear what the chat got to say about this. Two, just because he might got clutch stats. Nah.
He only got clutch stats 29.7 points per game. 29.7 points per game. Getting them boards, dishing out them assists, and coming through when it matters most. What more you want from that? What more you want from a player than that?
But man, yo, a jingle no coming through my mind from my eye, but I ain't gonna sing it. It's a bitch. It's a bitch. You talk about always there when he's needed most.
See what it is? Who is?
CIBC, I think.
CIBC.
I think
yes.
Yeah, I think it's CIBC.
Yeah, that's correct. That's
good. I won't comment on that. Cool though. I think we need to have that conversation next week for sure. Marquee matchup prediction time. Get into it.
Sir. Well,
so people
you see it. You see it.
I got you.
Yeah.
I got you, bro. Raymond so far is in the lead. It's still really close, I think, because of the competition so far for the season. Everything is not clear cut. If we had more Cal predictions, probably we got more points right now. But honestly, like the games have been really, really interesting, really close, and
really hard to
right
predict.
now our points are also really close. Right one, just by 1 point in the lead. Then you got myself and Hakeem in second, well, tied for second with 3 points. So yeah, I think is good competition all around, even on the Astro Bros scene. So good stuff. So Ray, why don't you start us off? Celtics v Cavaliers tomorrow night.
That's gonna be a big one. Hans, we gotta
You
watch this one.
think the streak is gonna be ended, or you think Cavs will continue the streak? I think they're
going all in on the Cavs.
Well.
I going all in on the Cavs. All in on the Cavs,
Crazy.
brother. I get it. It's some crazy, but I get
Ah,
all in on the cows.
you know,
People's on the stream. This is a must-watch game. This is probably like the most anticipated game of the season. Every season, there's first couple of games come around, and there's always that game. I think we had the Nuggets Celtics was one of those games. Like, everybody, we
yeah,
gotta see these two teams. This is one of those games. Please tune in tomorrow night, TNT. I think it is at 8 p.m. Eastern time, or 7 p.m. Eastern time, 8 p.m.
mm,
Atlantic Standard Time. It's going to be a banger. I could try to cover it as the game goes on because we gotta watch it. I don't know if you want to like hop on and we never do an Instagram live. We could probably do like a hop on an Instagram live maybe for the fourth quarter or so.
yeah.
If you're available. If you don't,
We see.
just to close it
We
again.
see how it goes. See
Yeah,
what my timing look like, but
yeah,
that would be interesting for sure.
yeah.
But
Especially if the game is close.
yes, for
Yeah,
sure.
especially if the
And
game
I
is
and I
close.
think it's
So.
going to be a heater because it can be at Celtics and Celtics fans
Mhm.
crazy.
Crazy,
And
insane.
then you got competitive people like Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland
Mhm.
that can want to shut out fans. So I know it can be I know it can be a good game, and that's why going with Celtics. Um,
Mm.
you know
Mm.
how I like competition. I think this is the end of the road for Cavs.
Ah,
Not that I want it on them, but for sake of um fun, and I mean they already got the history, right? They already got the 15-0 going for them right now. But hey, it's time for Tatum to show you all what's going on. It's time for Brown to show you all what's going on. Pritchard, yeah, I think this can be nice game to watch.
yeah,
So I go with the
excellent.
Celtics.
All right, can't back to this.
Yep. Next up, we got Suns and Knicks. This is a pretty interesting matchup.
Mm-hmm.
Since we went first last prediction, I can go first this time.
Mm-hmm.
Based on what's going on with these teams right now, I think it makes sense for me to choose Suns. I still think Knicks got a little bit to figure out on the defensive end. And if they don't figure that out, I think Suns will take advantage of that. So I'm going with the Suns.
Mm-hmm. I think it's an interesting one. It's very hard because one, Devin Booker on a heater right now. To be honest, he's only need one game and he could go off and rattle off like multiple 30-point games. OG Ananobi could shut him down to some degree, but then it's like, all right, when you got him zoning in on him, who's who's going to shut down the other players? I mean, not like the Suns got much help right now because KD out. So this is an interesting one. This is very interesting.
You'll
They
be
don't also
surprised.
don't have anybody to guard Cat as well. And Cat has been on one these past couple of games, to be honest. They
Hmm.
got really on Yusuf Nurkic. Cat is gonna fray him or Mason probably. Cat is also gonna fray him. They gotta put somebody else on Cat. And if they can't find somebody to put on Cat, it's gonna be barbecue chicken. Barbecue
Watch and
chicken.
see.
So
Cat can fall out this game.
it's possible. They might. It's possible. I don't know. This is a hard one, but
I'm
I can stay
telling
with
you.
the Knicks. I can go with the Knicks on this one. Maybe there's a game where Jalen Brunson makes none of this matter and goes off. um, but who knows? I go with the Knicks on this one.
Good stuff. I like it. Last but not least, we got Nuggets and Mavericks.
I think there's.
Who you got?
I'm hoping that Jokic will be back by then. I'm hoping the last game that they had was a really good game. Um, sorry that I missed it. I think the Mavericks are going to be out for the blood this game to try to get back at them from the last one. So this is a risky pick in my opinion, but I going with the Mavericks.
Ain't no other team to go with, buddy. Mavs.
Yeah, it's better to go with nobody else anyway.
It's Mavs. Mavs got this. And this is just going off of the potential that I think Mavs got.
Mhm.
Um, I think they got what it takes to bring it home. Obviously, Nuggets is a very good squad to play against, and it's always fair works when these two teams come together. So um, it will be a
Yeah.
good game, and definitely want to tune into if you like to see trees get drained and you like to see some crazy stuff happening near the rim in Kyrie. So definitely tune into this one as well. Think
Yeah,
I
man.
think that's it for our triple up prediction marquee matchup. Let us know, people's either here in the comment section or on Instagram who you got. Post will be coming out pretty soon for this marquee matchup prediction set. So hit us up. Anything else, Rayvon? I know F1 coming up next weekend, so not this weekend. Next weekend we got the final triple header of F1 coming up. So
Yeah, we got
I usually would say excited to see what's happening, but based on where the points are right now in the drivers championship,
Rivers.
I feel like it
Pretty much a
over.
done deal. Yeah,
But
yeah.
we got constructors also to look at. And I saw, like I was just thinking today, I saw sorry Mercedes wasn't as good as the other teams because I feel like Red Bull would have plummeted down to fourth by now. Given that
Probably.
Sergio Perez was no help to Red Bull
Hmm.
for a long time. So interesting to see what happens there for sure.
But you know, Max ain't bothered about that. He still get his.
Max get his all day,
Yeah.
every day. But I think by doing that, he's going to make a good case for Red Bull why they should get rid of Perez.
Hmm.
I
Yeah,
think
as
they
it should.
have enough already, but hey, we'll see what happens.
Anything else in sports? I don't think there was anything else I could think of coming off the top of my head.
Yeah,
It's a cool show. I think you should check into. Yeah, you know about League of Legends?
yeah,
It's a
I've heard
game.
bigger.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but they got a series on Netflix called Arcane. Dog,
yo, everybody
oh,
got a Netflix series. I
dog,
swear, this is ridiculous at this
nah.
point. I
You
I,
should
I
check
I
it
feel
out.
like I feel like they're gonna choose some country in the world somewhere where people be playing pickup and they got some story about it. Like
Everybody got
this
a
is
story to tell.
you got sprint, you got F1, you got NASCAR, you got tennis.
Hmm.
What else? I'm pretty sure there's American football one too.
I think I saw one for American football.
Yeah, bro. There's so many coming out right now, and
Hmm.
is quite insane to be honest. But hey, good on Netflix and good on the people that convinced Netflix that they got a story to tell. I think that they've been doing a pretty good job
Hmm.
for all of them
Yeah,
that
for
that
sure.
I've watched
Well,
so far. So
when I watched the fight on Friday, it was the connection was kind of poor. It was buffering a lot. I see a lot of
no,
people complaining about that
I
too.
yeah, I talking about like the
The
actual
shows, the shows themselves. Yeah,
stories. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah,
The
yeah, yeah.
shows
True.
itself is
But
pretty good. Yeah, it was the life was terrible. I mean,
I,
on all ends.
I glad though that Netflix getting into the live sporting event stuff
Hmm.
because you know you pay them a lot of money when they might come if you got a Netflix subscription, of course.
Yeah,
Uh, uh, that's added value right there. So you know for the sports fans out there,
for
they're
sure.
supposed to got NFL Christmas Day, which can give the NBA so much licks on Christmas Day in terms of viewership.
Yep.
I see them announce today that Beyonce performing at halftime, so that's even more viewership going. So that's a wrap for the NBA and Christmas Day games.
I
Sorry
think
to
though
say,
if they don't fix the speed though the connection, I don't think that a lot of people will stay on. They will get a
yeah,
lot of initial views, but I don't think people would be viewing for a long time if
yeah,
the connection continue to happen. But
but it'll
yeah,
happen
good
for
on
the
them, man.
hmm
Good on them. But I figured that they will figure it out though.
yeah,
They've they've been only come up as it relates to streaming stuff. So
yeah.
good on Netflix.
All right, that's a wrap for me.
If there ain't other information to come in the sporting world, then Astro Bros will be out, people. We can see y'all next week. Like I said, stay tuned this week. We got some nice matchups Hit us up on Instagram. See what the predictions look like. Comment your predictions as well. Hey, we're here for the competition. Bahasha Bros to see you next week, Monday. Peace.